Yeah, I just never gave him a time, man. Like I do need to just listen to him because y'all don't vouch for him, and y'all motherfuckers got an eye for good shit. Hey, man, what's up, everybody out there? This is your boys from the Fade Hour, Ringside Rave. I'm your host, the Golden Voice, Maul Bruising Boxing, and right now I'm gonna kick it to my co-host, let him introduce himself, and we're just gonna go from there.
All right, so we are now live. What's up, y'all? It's your boy Smoke, and I'm here with the Golden Voice, Mal, aka Bruise and Boxing, and I'm gonna let him take the stage.
What's up, y'all, man? I'm here from coming from Jacksonville, Florida, as always, man. Getting ready for the fight. We're gonna actually try to go live the whole card that Showtime's having today, which will be main evented by Chris Eubank Jr. and James Degale. Um, we didn't
Well,
touch on it. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Mal, let's be real here. If y'all tuning in, the main event is listening to this.
Right.
Yeah. So
Hmm.
you might have heard me talking to my boy News a little bit. We were having some technical difficulties. Those are all cleared up. And I think what my boy Mal was about to say was what he's sipping on.
Yeah, I haven't even cracked it yet because I'm gonna wait till the card get underway. But I made a trip to one of my little local beer spots today and I got me 11% bourbon barrel aged stout. I forgot the name of it, but it was good. I sipped on it, and then I went ahead and purchased it. So I'm gonna crack that open and sip on that throughout the whole card. But yeah, man, I'm ready for this main event because I look at it like a loser retires to me, dog. I know Eubank not gonna retire. I know them two probably not gonna retire, but like whoever loses this probably starts for their career, man. Like, and it's crazy because I don't
Well,
think the
so
win's gonna get that big of a boost anyways. But like, you know what I'm saying? Like the loser is gonna lose out more than the winner is gonna win in a sense.
yeah, I mean, yeah, I feel the same thing. I think Eubanks is gonna beat Degale's ass because I think Degale is beyond washed. But uh, we're gonna have so much time to talk about that, and the card doesn't even start for like another 10 minutes. So
Right.
everyone listening in, Mal and I are just gonna freestyle a little bit.
Pretty
So
much.
yeah, so I'm gonna tell you something. I've been listening to. Do you remember that song "Slam Harder" by Onyx? Like when they kind of made their comeback.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, who do you think rocked that sample better? AZ, Mace, or Onyx?
There's a
And that's the Welcome Back Cotter sample.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
AZ because he's my favorite artist.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna be biased because I fucks with AZ makes my top 10 list of all time, dude. I'm
Easy.
gonna say that. I'm gonna say
Easy.
that.
And while we're talking about that, shout out to New York. Shout out to our boy King P.
Yep. Bodega.
AKA, yeah, Bodega Boxing, because AZ is one of his favorite rappers. But I have to tell you, Mal, because I know that you go to the gym just like I do.
Mm-hmm.
When Slam Harder comes on and I'm hitting the bag, like my heart rate goes up like 20 beats per minute.
Hell yeah, man. And I fucks
Yeah.
with Onyx, dog. Like Onyx is like my mid 90s,
Yeah,
making
yeah.
me I fuck with them, man. Man, Onyx,
Yo,
Frederick's. Go ahead.
so it's funny. Did you see? I mean, I don't really watch the NBA like that, but I mean, I be on the Cali and Instagram and all that. And Blake Griffin
Yeah,
talks
when he got
some shit,
ejected.
and so Vince Carter was like all up in the ref's face like a can
Yeah,
of mace, like kick him out, kick him out.
get him the fuck
And
out of here.
and so we finally got the answer to who slams harder, Onyx or Vince Carter, and the answer is Onyx.
Dog, hell yeah, dog. But Vince,
Because yo, Vince is a legend, but he also a snitch.
yeah, that was kind of that was that wasn't a good look for my fellow Floridian man. I ain't really rock with that.
I
Fun
mean,
fact, fun fact about Vince Carter is that before I went to my high school here in Fletcher, we actually played his high school in like his senior year in high school, and I saw the actual video of the game when I was in school, and he gave us that fucking work, man. My high
yo,
school, like, he went like for 40 on us easily, man. And it was
yo,
like, cause I saw it in '04. No, I saw it in '03 when my teacher, because he was actually the basketball coach of the school, and then he still had the tape, and he showed us. And yeah, you could tell like Vince was marked for greatness, like from that tape, and it was just him in high school, man.
yo. So when it's funny that you say that because where I live, and for y'all that don't know, this is Smoke at Free Smoke Boxing. You know, the man that keeps the Kemi Jones, the biscotti, the wedding cake, everything that you can think of on deck. My step pops is actually he does the photography for the local high school here, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
there was this kid last year who's playing at I think it's Purdue now,
Mm-hmm.
and so he got a Division 1 full ride scholarship, right? And he was like six. He is like 6'6", like 200 pounds as a senior in high school. And I saw this kid play like I don't know 3 times. You know, just going to show sport to the local people, and my stepdad doing this thing. And there is just like a gigantic difference between the dudes who even go to college to play versus, you know, the guys that play in high school. I mean, this cat could probably hit like 75 threes in a row, no problem.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Like playing against somebody who
And
actually, like you said, D1 athletes, man. Even the ones that may not get much playing time in college, they are so much better than the regular Joes, man. That shit is crazy, man.
and so that's kind of funny because some of you may know, some of you may not know. I used to do a little bit of handiwork myself, and the difference between someone who has been training for like a year and is good, and the difference between someone who's like a natural boxer is a bigger gap than anything that I can possibly think of. Because there are some guys that are just natural boxers, like it comes natural to them. Whether
Right.
like a dude like Tank, because I'll never forget getting put down by a kid, like 5, 6 years younger than me, and I was like, yeah, this ain't for me, but like, you know, not as a thing to pursue, but as a hobby. And the difference in boxing between, you know, your dude that goes to the gym and trains for a couple months and just even an amateur boxer is like through the roof.
Startling.
Yeah, man. Like, yo, if our and shout out to our boy, the Alberta assassin,
Mm-hmm.
PJ. If I mean, and PJ don't even recognize how good that he is, and
Yeah.
he be sparring amateurs, bro, and knocking their teeth out, and like it's just something different.
Yeah, and I like watching his PJ videos too that he posts, man, because like he be breaking it down too, man. Like he's
So now that we're kind of on an official shout out, let's go to IG. Go follow our boy at PJ LC, you know what? Go to my page and look for the people that I
PJ.
follow. And it starts with PJL. I ain't even gonna try and disrespect him by saying this last
Mm-hmm.
name. But yeah, it's you know, PJ's a beast, and shout out to him. Shout out to all my people in Canada.
Let
Which
me
I
ask you a
ain't.
question. But
All
let me ask
right.
you a question while we on like difference between like amateurs and regular Joes and professionals, man. Like you said, you've seen it up close, up hand, firsthand. Like,
Hmm.
what is different? Is it the quickness? Is it the power? Is it the coordination? Is it just like what's the naked eye that can spot differences between somebody at a pro high level, at a world level, at a world champion, contender level, than somebody who's an amateur or somebody like that who's green in boxing?
Okay, so really, so you're asking me as someone who has been in the ring or someone who's a spectator?
You just in general, like however you feel like you want to answer that question from whatever perspective.
Okay, so there is something, and it's natural. Okay, so you could have someone that goes to a boxing gym, and they go to a boxing gym for 10 years, and they're just, they know their fundamentals and all that stuff. It's kind of like when you see a kid and they're 7 and they can
Mhm.
just dribble a basketball.
Like he was
It's
blessed.
Yeah, it's hard to explain.
It's the it.
Um,
They got that it.
because but the it in boxing is different, because
Mhm.
if you don't have, to quote Floyd, dumb as fuck Mayweather, if you don't have that hard work and determination, that it doesn't matter. But
Mhm.
when it all comes together, because I seen lazy motherfuckers in the gym that
Yep.
had it, and they would come into, they would be overweight and all that stuff, and like these would be guys that would just have natural body movement, pause, double pause, no homo. Um, like so Tyson Fury is a perfect example, right?
Yep.
So he is like a 240-pound sloppy Irish dude. And I don't know, well, I know he grew up at the gypsy life. Um, but there's something that just happens, and like you either get it or you don't. So
Yep.
like there's natural skill, but there is also, how much can you learn?
And plus,
Because what's
and it's kind of like how you them hoop with people too who's not on the basketball team, but like, and they can be smoking a pack of Newports, and then like, all right, I got next. As soon as they all start hooping, he just like turn into Jordan. You be like, you just got natural shit that you just can't teach, man. And I wonder if that's like kind of like that in boxing sometimes.
Yeah, it definitely is, because you have dudes that like, and a good example is Ricardo Mayorga,
Yep.
right? Like he smoked and drank when he was
Right. A
training,
world champion. Right.
and he was a world champion, and he took flush hooks to
Plenty of
to
times.
the jaw from Tito Ortiz in his prime, and he
Hmm.
didn't go down until later in the fight.
Yep.
And it's kind of like, so it's hard to describe, but when you see it,
Yep.
and you can usually see that in the footwork.
I was going to ask you about the footwork portion of it.
So because of So boxing, as we all know, is a very technical sport. And by the way, to all our listeners, I guess they are showing the all access for AB versus
Pacquiao
Pacquiao, like the epilogue after Broner got his ass kicked.
again.
Yeah, so y'all gonna be listening to us for a while. So
Hmm.
just get prepared to be, to
Entertain.
hear some, yeah, exactly. Here's some deep shit, and you might hear me coughing a little bit. But what's it called? Boxing is such a technical sport. Like they call it
The
chess,
sweet science too.
the sweet science, and it's chess with your hands, right? So if you've ever played chess against someone who's really, really, really good, I'm not talking about like a guy that knows like a 4 move checkmate or stuff like that. I'm talking about someone who can look at the board and see something 6 moves ahead. And Mel, I don't know, did you ever play chess?
Nope, never have that or checkers. Neither one.
So I'm gonna tell the world something. I played chess for a long time, right? And I had got to the point where I could see like 2 moves ahead. Okay.
Mm.
and I stopped playing for a long time. And then, I got into a little bit of a situation where I had to sit down, and all y'all that are listening should probably know what that means. And then I played chess against someone that knew what they were doing, and bro, I got smoked. So what I'm saying is the naturals at boxing, they see things like three or four. I don't want to say moves because you don't do moves in boxing, but they see things like three or four times ahead of where someone like you or I may see.
Yeah, and I always hear about that shit too, man. Like I
Well,
said,
so
I'm not into it, but I always hear about like being moves ahead and shit like that.
so a perfect example is right if you want to talk about just organic boxing. Marcos Maidana versus Floyd Mayweather, second fight. Everyone knows this part because it's one of the hardest punches that Floyd ever took.
Yep,
At the end of the third round, he got his tooth knocked out
tooth
by
knocked
Marcos.
out.
Yeah. So Floyd was in the process of doing a pull counter, which we have seen Floyd land against
Anybody.
opponents opponents far more elite than Marcos Narcos Maidana. No disrespect to him, living the best life that he can. But and this is crazy, he set up a punch that would end up countering a counter that would counter a counter. So if
I
you're
followed you.
if you're following me there, he threw a jab that would set up a punch four punches later that Mayweather had never been countered on before in
Nope.
his. I take that back. When he fought Casamayor, he got countered on it one time. He got countered on it one time. And so there's just things that you really can't. There's some things that like you can teach in terms of skill. Like you can teach someone to throw a jab straight. You can teach someone to throw a right punch. But there are some instinctive things that you just can't teach.
Nope.
And a dude like Marcos Maidana, who was seen as a very crude fighter, and until he got with Robert Garcia, he didn't really. Let me just rephrase that. Until he beat Adrian Broner, no one took Marcos Maidana seriously. Or can we agree on that?
True. True. True.
So he got with Robert Garcia, and his jab game got elevated. But my whole point of this is Marcos Maidana is a perfect example because he had it. He has that natural skill and ability and boxing IQ that he was able to just organically, because there's no way that you could teach someone to counter four punches ahead because it's just too complicated. There's too many variables. So he's like a good example of someone that just has it. And that's
Right.
kind of what separates someone who trains at the gym for 5 years and they have a perfectly straight jab. They know how to throw a right hand, but every time they go to sparring, they get marked up. I mean,
Because there are some people who can look like you said, like perfect example of somebody like Gerald Washington, in my opinion. Like he just don't have it, but he'll
right,
do
but he has
everything
all the
by the book.
technical.
Right. He looks mechanical doing it. He just don't look smooth and fluid. You know what I'm saying? Like he don't look like he was born with it. It look like he picked it up and turned it into a profession, as opposed to somebody like you said, somebody who was born with. That's in a sense. I could be wrong. People might disagree. Anthony Joshua kind of got that mechanical look to him too at times. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, so let's wait until Rez comes on to talk about that because
Mm-hmm.
Rez will have something to say about AJ.
Yeah, yeah.
But
That'll
but
lead in
yeah,
perfectly.
but yeah, I definitely agree with what you're saying because dudes who start boxing when they're kids, versus guys who start boxing when they're like 18
Mm-hmm.
plus. There's just a massive difference.
They're just a fluid, like you said. There's a level of being natural at it that is voided when you start it. Like you said, when you start late in your teen years, than when if you start at 10 years at like 7 years old or something. Starting
Yeah,
boxing at 17 and at age 7 is a vast ass difference. Not
yeah.
not
So
saying you can't accomplish more if you start it later, but we're just saying as far as how it looks and how much you pick up and how natural it is sometimes.
shout
Not in all
out
cases.
to Sergio Martinez for
Mm-hmm.
starting boxing when he was 23 and
Right.
being one of the most versatile champions that we've seen in the past 15 years.
If I'm yep, and if I'm wrong, correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't Bernard start it late when he was in prison, like when he got in trouble or
So
what? Something. How was his story again?
I
Was it
mean,
like
I
that?
wish we had Pat on here
Pat would
to
he
actually, yeah. I mean, he
encyclopedia,
would
right?
tell us the encyclopedia. He would tell us the day that Hopkins got out of the jail and the
Yeah,
first.
he's saying where he was locked up at and all that, man.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, Hopkins started professionally late. I don't know when he started learning though.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, it's just it's crazy. So, kind of like a little transition from that. A dude who started boxing when he was 5, or something like that, is Vasily Lomachenko.
Oh,
And so Loma had an interview the other day with boxingscene.com. Shout out to
yeah.
Boxing Scene.
Them. They hold a
They've been, yeah, they hold it down. I mean, their website looks like it's still from 2002, but it's okay. They're keeping the feeling.
yeah.
But
Yep.
did you have a chance to check that article out, Mal?
No, I peeped it. You know, when he was just talking about his aspirations for the future, like maybe he just want to unify the because I
Yeah,
it started from him finally doing like an Instagram live for the first time, answering questions, doing the ask me anything type of thing, and they was alluding to
yeah,
what he's looking for in the future, and he stated that his intentions as of now is to unify division and then retire, and he is early 30s, right? 31, 32.
I think he's a little bit younger than I am, and I'm 31.
Right.
Yeah,
And
so
I'm
he,
and
so
just add on to that before you even go, and I'll shut up after this. Is like, I don't know if y'all really been able to listen to a lot of our casts, but it we kind of have the theory, and it happens in sports, but mainly in boxing, that if you start talking retirement, even if you think it's going to be a few years out the road, that's kind of not a good sign. Not it's like it's terrible, but it's kind of like, boy, that karma comes back to you when you start talking retirement in boxing. I've noticed that, man. And
well,
but yeah,
so
go ahead.
so what I was gonna say is that, but I want to touch on your point first. So when you start talking retirement, even with someone like, so Lomachenko is an exception because he's elite and he's no homo. He's special. Like he's a special fighter at lower weights, um, because he does stuff that we haven't seen cats do since Roy Jones Jr. Um, but so he's kind of like, you were asking me before, the difference. Like Loma is someone that just kind of has it. Like I guarantee you could have seen him boxing when he was 7. And you would have been
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, this dude's going to be a world champion one day. All that being said, um, Loma also said that he wanted to fight Tank Davis, and this isn't a verbatim quote, but it is pretty much what he said. He said, I like to fight people who talk a lot of shit. If only his boss would make the fight, we would do it.
Yep.
And I don't know about where you guys are from. And Loma is from Ukraine. I'm from Illinois. Mel's from Jacksonville. But to me, that is a direct shot. That
And
is,
yep.
yeah, that is definitely, he's taking shots at Floyd
Yep.
and Tank.
At Tank.
And Tank, bless him, but knowing the way that he is, he must have felt some type of
He
way
felt,
when they alerted him to that.
bruh, I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna be honest with you when it comes to that potential fight, whether it's at 130 or 135 or whatever. This time last year, I would have thought Tank. I would have thought I would have thought Loma would have walked over Tank, like schooled Tank. And I'm not gonna
Yep.
lie to you, dog. And it's crazy because like a year later, even though Tank hasn't even had the rounds or the fights, something about that Pedraza fight just I don't know, brother. I don't know, dog.
So
About that. Even the Linares fight, you know what I'm saying? Even the Linares and the Pedraza fight kind of showed me like if Tank is on his game, he can do it. I don't want to call it 50-50. I
well,
still begrudgingly will take Loma over Tank, but I'm not going to argue anybody who will take Tank over Loma at this very second, just because of how Loma's been taking some punishment the last few fights. You know what I'm saying?
so here is some of my technical breakdown shit. So Lomachenko gets hit, and despite getting hit, he dodges a lot of punches,
Right.
and he makes his opponents quit from the excessive pressure and all that stuff.
The work rate.
Yeah, and a lot of that. But Loma has an what's it called? If you're a boxing like footwork watcher, as we call them, you know this stuff. Loma has a few flaws that if he fought someone who was a puncher like Tank or Mikey Garcia, he
Mm-hmm.
could easily get knocked out. And so the thing that I see if Tank and Loma fight is how many dudes has Tank punched, flush, and hit that have been able to come back? And the answer is zero. Now he's
Mm-hmm.
never fought someone like Lomachenko,
Right.
but
That was my counter to that.
Pedraza is not a scrub,
Nope. And
and
he showed that against Loma, in my opinion. He showed that. Clearly showed that.
he looked now. Granted, Loma was coming back from a torn
From the
labrum, I
right, right,
think,
right.
so he couldn't use his right hook, and that is something that he spoke emphatically about in that
Right.
interview. But all that being said, if so, I'm gonna ask you.
I think that that labrum might be problematic though, man. I'm thinking
I
like
think that's the real reason he's talking
I
about
think that's going to end
retirement.
up being problematic, man, because yeah, his shoulder wasn't right, but and you know, as we're not trying to say something just because of the way a boxer's face look after a fight, because some people mark up easier than others. You know, we're not saying, oh, look at his face afterwards. You know, that's why blah 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 blah. But if you watch the fight and you're kind of not if you have some insight in the boxing, Loma was just getting hit more than usual.
Too much.
Once Pedraza actually pulled his skirt up and was like, yo, fuck this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like once Pedraza started not trying to dance around it, once Pedraza brought the fight to him, he was having success. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So my whole thing with that is that Loma gets hit too much.
Mm-hmm.
And so Tank ends up either walking down or one way or another, he ends up hitting his opponent. And my whole thing is if Loma got dropped by Linares with
Flush
just,
too.
yeah, with just a nice, straight punch, how would he be able to stand a right hook or a straight left from Tank, who punches with the power of like
Yes.
a 147 guy?
And let me ask you a question though. Does any for this fight, would you think it need to be at 130 or 135? And does either weight that the fight is at gives somebody one of the fighters an advantage? Like, if does it favor Loma if it's at 130, or does it favor Tank if it's at 135? Who you think it favors? That's kind of where I was getting at.
So I think that Tank can't make 130 anymore. I think Loma could actually easily make 130, as
Yeah,
bizarre as that sounds.
yeah.
I think the fight needs to be at 135,
Mm.
and I think the weight is negligible. It's one of those things where, and this might sound like I'm hating on Lomachenko, but I've been watching boxing too long to, emotionally hate on anyone except for Triple G. Um,
We gonna get to
Loma,
him next too. Let's get to him next. Let's get to him next.
yeah, Loma makes tiny mistakes, right? He makes
Right.
small mistakes. And if you watch boxing like the people that are listening should be, and you watch for the technicalities, when he does his little footwork, move around stuff, he
Mm-hmm.
drops his hands to guard his body. Okay.
Yep.
So if he fights Mikey Garcia, which I don't ever think will happen because
Nah, that's done.
I don't think Bob Arum would put him in the same what's it called, gym, let alone ring, as Mikey. But against Tank, okay. So when you're a southpaw fighting a southpaw, it's difficult because you have to move. You're supposed to move away from the power hand, right?
Yep.
That's the whole thing in boxing. Like, move away from the power hand. And Tank has power in both hands, right?
Yep.
So even if Loma had him up against the ropes doing, when he hits guys with like 14 arm punches in the
Pity
face, and
pats,
then
right.
yeah, and then they eventually put their hands up to block those, and then he starts throwing hard punches to the body. Well, in between that, all those pity pat punches, and when he gets going, he drops his hands. And if Tank could just throw one right hook during that time, he would have Loma on the ground, in my
Yep.
opinion. And so I think Loma's great. I think he's elite. I think he's one of the better fighters that we've seen in the past few years. But I don't think 135.
Without flaws.
Right, and I think the weight is. I don't
I,
think he should have gone past 130.
right. Because personally, Comey can be all wrong for him. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying he will beat Loma. Hell, I'm going to pick Loma. Personally, I'm going to pick Loma to beat anybody outside of Mikey Garcia. I'm going to
Okay.
say that right now. I'm going to pick Loma to beat anybody, but I'm not saying he's not going to have his issues with anybody. You know what I'm saying? Quiet as kept. I think Mikey will do it. Out of everybody, I think if I had to bet the mortgage, I'm going to bet Mikey would be the one that would beat him.
I think
I don't want to say comfortably either, but I might.
I
Let me
think
not jump
Mike
ahead.
I think Mikey would, and this is gonna sound
They're gonna
very
think you
predictional.
biased. They're gonna say
And
you.
of course I'm biased. Mikey Garcia is my favorite fighter, and I will say that for a long time. But I think Mikey would actually hurt Loma very badly.
Right.
And I think he would actually break his jaw. Because the thing is, Loma has the heart and intensity of like a legit like Mexican warrior. And the thing is that Mikey at 135, everyone remembers what Robert Easter said after they fought.
That motherfucker
He
can hit hard.
he said he said
Shout out to Mikey
and
Garcia.
yeah, and shout out to our boy Champside, who I think he was the one who put the video up because I
Mhm.
think it was on Robert Easter's story or something like
Yeah.
that. And Robert Easter was just like joking around, and he was like, "Guard, get me away from this."
Yeah.
And so,
And before you go that, shout out to Easter too, because he was game. He just got beat
yeah,
by the better person. You know what I'm saying? He had success, but once Mikey got in that groove, ain't nothing he could do. You know what I'm saying? Like Mikey walked him down and I was like, I wouldn't say I was stunned, but I was like, damn, you know what I'm
I
saying?
was
Mikey was looking
he
like he was
was
just on the heavy bag. And it
he
got to
he was
because
playing games with him.
I ain't gonna fuck with you. I ain't gonna lie, dog, because you was there. Shout out to my boy Smoke Squad, Free Smoke. He was there.
Yes,
Like,
sir. First
right, you know what I'm
row.
saying? Going into the seventh, I had it damn near even. You know what I'm saying? Maybe Mikey was up a point or so because he got the knockdown. But after that, the second half of the fight was just a whitewash. You know what I'm saying? It was over with after that.
So it's really actually funny because I don't think that it was the knockdown punch. Because
No.
if you go back and you look at that footage, which by the way you could see on my Instagram at Free Smoke Boxing,
Mm-hmm.
you would see that Robert Easter was a little bit off balance. And I strongly emphasize a little bit because Mikey punched the shit out of him. But I think it was when he started landing those right hands is when Easter started getting uncomfortable and started going for a run. And all that being said, Robert Easter went 12 rounds with Kami, and we just saw a couple weeks ago that if Kami catches you flush, Kami looks like he could punch through a fucking brick wall. You know?
Yep.
Yeah, so I think that Kalme would be a good but difficult fight for Loma because he would have to, it's kind of like that Wilder effect. Like, how do you
Yeah.
stay away from one punch for an entire fight?
You can't.
Yeah, and so just a little bit of a transition here. For whatever reason,
Golovkin.
but not yet, not just yet. But Showtime, for whatever reason, is still showing this.
Yeah, I thought showed some other card, some of
This
the undercard.
this recap from the AB and Pacquiao fight, and I just want to say shout out to the ring girls in the back. If y'all listening, holla at me, girls.
You know what? Speaking of Showtime, I got a bone to pick with them, and I got a bone to pick with a few of these boxing, these networks who carry boxing fights, man. Like,
Speak on me.
oh, used to be HBO, and everybody else. Hold on, hold on, Brianna. Um, y'all need to make y'all fights available for people who wants to view them months in advance, months later, because why can't I just go to Showtime's website and look at Wilder Fury? Like even Hurd and Lord.
Exactly.
Like I have to dig
Exactly.
crates of places that I don't want to name because I'm not going to expose them and download the fight from there. I understand some pay-per-view fights you don't want to make them immediately available on your website or something. But you mean to tell me a month or two later that you just can't have them up on there so we can view them? Like even for whatever it seemed, did Adrian Broner pay off Showtime to just delete his fight with Maidana? Because it's just nowhere. It's nowhere. I swear, dog. Like I want to do boxers do that sometimes. Like yo, don't put that up. Like because I cannot find Broner and Maidana anywhere. I just
Well,
can't find it anywhere.
so I can find that it's funny. I can't find the whole
I mean,
fight, but
I need the English original broadcast. That's what I'm saying.
okay. You don't want to
That's
hear.
what I'm. Yeah,
You
I
don't want
need
to,
to hear
and
the
no
original.
disrespect to our Eastern European friends, but you
Right,
don't want to hear the Russian
because
angry version of the fight.
because they have no enthusiasm. Like when I watch those non-English commentators, they just somebody get knocked down and just like blah blah blah. I be like, whoa, what? You
Well, Mal,
know what I'm
I'm
saying?
I'm gonna have to hold you up there. Have
Yeah.
you ever watched a fight with Asian commentators?
Mm-mm. No,
That's okay. So that's a whole
they
different ball game,
they into it. I've heard a few.
bro. They watch boxing the same. I can't even think of a good analogy. Like
Like
they watch and commentate on
kind
boxing.
of kind of
Like
like how
if
we do with NFL, like how we do with the NFL and NBA here.
yeah, kind of. But boxing's so much more of an intense sport that it
Mm-hmm.
comes across way more intense. They commentate like if they don't do a good job, they're gonna get like samurai sword chopped
Right.
after the fight.
They be in it, man.
Yo, what is Showtime doing?
Fucking up.
Because yeah, yeah. I mean,
And
this is like
shout out to
ESPN
Pat because
status.
Pat be having his foot on Showtime PBC net. Our man
Yeah,
Pat Scorpio, he is a DAZN proponent. He is a starts DAZN supporter, and anytime and you know what? Let me clarify, y'all. And his main gripe is the matchmaking, and also the matchmaking at 147 and more in being more specific. So he hates that 147 under the PBC Showtime banner would rather take pictures together outside of the ring than touch gloves inside the ring. That's always his main caveat.
yeah. So, I guess that the reason that we're watching this BS instead of the fights is that they're not airing Selby versus Douglas
And that's probably
because Rez. I'm sure it's just a normal. What's it
contractual
called? It's the
agreements thing.
yeah, but I just sent our boy Rez, aka Reservoir Dogs
Yep.
93, the
Yep.
link, and hopefully he should be joining relatively soon. And he is actually watching the fights that are going on right now,
Yep.
so you might get a little bit more entertainment than just Mal and I talking some shit.
Y'all gotta, man, when it comes to this ringside rave and the fade hour, we're over there, we're across the pond. We're not everybody who's under our banner is in the US, man. You know what I'm saying?
All right,
Rez,
let me do the plug for him, Mal.
plug them.
Cause I'm ready. I'm ready.
Plug.
So ringside rave, free smoke boxing, bruising boxing, all our brands or whatever the fuck you want to call them. We have the only profound international network, almost an international supply chain of boxing knowledge. And you might say, okay, so you have someone that lives in the United Kingdom. No, we got our boy Rez, who will be coming on soon, who is from Hungary. And I'm not 100% sure on his situation right now, but I believe he's going to school in the Netherlands. Then
Mm-hmm.
you got our boy P, who's repping the BX, Bronx, all day. Then you got Pat, who's repping Massachusetts, I think. I mean, yo, when I sent him some edibles, his zip code started with a 0. I
And
mean, we talking about black card Pat though.
mm-hmm.
And so, Mal, where are you from?
Man, I'm born and raised here in Jacksonville, my man.
So
Born and
we
raised.
got a dude in Jacksonville, and then you got your boy Smoke, who was me. I
Well,
was
you see.
raised in Illinois, by and now I'm in Colorado. We got News, who's in the Midwest still, and we got our boys on the West Coast. So Ringside Rave is really that international supply chain of boxing that you need.
You know it. And my two of my coworkers, they just pulled up. They repping New York, and they fuck with boxing too, man. And we drink
Yeah.
it, but they disrespected me because one drinking a Heineken and one drinking a Guinness. Y'all know I drink
Oh.
only craft, man. But I'm gonna let them slide though, because we drank all week at work. Yeah, we did. Yes, every lunch break we
We
hit up Total
did.
Wine.
Yo, shout out to my boy in the background talking about drinking at
Mhm.
work. Holla.
Yeah.
But yo, so
Yeah.
let me do. So it looks like Showtime's kind of getting to the card, or they're
Yeah.
doing the intros. So let me do a little shout out. I'm smoking on some of this Kemi Jones which is grown by in the Flow, Colorado, and it
Yep.
tests at 39% THC. 39% THC for flower is fucking crazy. And so
Straight. Yeah.
shout out to them because this shit is gas. And Matt,
Yo.
did your coworkers bring over any of that yoga fire flame?
Yes, they did. They are actually opening up the switches as we speak.
Yo,
They
so
got, but I'm about to hit some.
yeah, yo,
Yeah, man, you about to light that up, man. Get it in.
yeah,
I'm sticking to this
and
beer. I actually didn't crack open the stout. Everybody, like I said, I was. I actually cracked open a double IPA. There's this brewery up in Iowa, of all places, man, called Toppling Goliath. And finally, the
oh,
distributor, or now they finally we got a distributor to get that fucking beer down here, and it's pretty straight, man. I don't know about you, but when I drink like IPAs and shit, I like my shit to be bitter. Like I like them be real bitter.
see, I'm the opposite. I like it to be smooth with like a little bit of a juicy flavor. Pause.
Right. I like it
And
bitter and strong, man. I like it to be like if it's not 9% or stronger, I generally do not drink it unless it's like a top notch known beer. Like I need my beer to be strong and bitter.
oh, it looks like okay. So everyone, it looks like there is uh, something going on in terms of boxing. It looks like two dudes just finished up a fight, and
Mm.
Showtime actually is putting. There we go. So here comes what's his name, Custer. So yeah, we're kind of on the precipice of this Joe Joyce versus Bermain Stavern, I think,
Man, do
fight,
you think Joe
bro.
Joyce is legit, or is it too early to tell?
Bro, I'm gonna tell you this: if he's legit or not,
This
it
shouldn't
will
go
not
past 3 rounds.
it will not be proven against this version of
Stavern.
Bermain Stavern because really, and no disrespect to women that have just given birth, but Bermain Stavern looked like he had just given birth like yesterday. I mean,
They got the he weighed in 273. We going live, brother. We live for the fight. So we gonna be on. He was like, get off the phone. He's down in a Heineken.
yo, so
They got the vape pen out.
yeah, you need to go ahead and hit that, brother. But yeah,
Man,
Stavern weighed in
go ahead.
at 273, which
Yeah, that's
is like
his fattest.
20 pounds over his highest weight.
Yep.
Um, to me, he got
Collecting a paycheck.
yeah, exactly.
And
So I think that I think he's going to get knocked out very quickly versus Joe Joyce.
Joe Joyce.
But
And
to
you know
answer,
what, man?
what's up?
Before you even go to that, and this probably going to segue into what I'm going to say. But either, go ahead and finish because I was going to talk about I want to see Joyce and Ortiz. So you go ahead and go there, man.
Well,
You go
I
ahead and
don't
finish
think
up.
Joe. I don't think Joe Joyce is that good.
His
I
best thing, the only thing that's good about him is his work rate.
yeah, exactly. Because if you look at his first few fights and then I mean, I don't even think he has 10 professional fights. But if you look at the few that he does have, you don't see a progression, right?
You're
He's
right. No,
heavy.
I agree.
He's heavy-handed and he can punch a lot. Yo, why are they interviewing Paulie in like workout clothes?
Because oh yeah,
Get
Paulie. You know Paulie's in Degale's corner.
what?
Yeah, yeah, he's in Degale's corner in some degree because at the press conference, Paulie in the box thread, in the random thoughts thread, somebody posted up the last press conference interview, and Paulie was in he was in Degale's corner commenting, like answering questions and stuff. So I don't know what role he's playing, but he's on Degale's squad in some capacity.
I'm gonna say this. I think at this point, because Paulie has a brilliant boxing mind,
Right.
but I don't think Paulie can
He can bring
save
anything new. You know what I mean?
Degale. I
No, no,
mean, yeah, but we'll see.
no.
I think Paulie actually would be a very good trainer because he communicates
In
well.
his own right, yeah, yeah. Based off the way he's commentating, I think he would be the one that would be a great trainer if he wants to go through that full time. Same with Dre. Same with Bradley. Same with I call him Bradley. I'm sorry, I call him Bradley. What's Timothy Bradley's real
Uh,
nickname?
all right, to everyone who doesn't know, when you're talking about Timothy Bradley, the proper way to say his name is Badass Tim Bradley because
Yep.
Tim Bradley knocked out like 12 guys in his entire career, and the only losses he ever took was to Manny Pacquiao. So he is
Yeah.
the
Isn't that
definition.
crazy when you look at it?
He is the definition of a bad motherfucker. And my boy Pat may disagree with us here, but
Oh boy.
badass Tim Bradley, that is how you say his name if you're being a respectful person. And you know what?
And you know what?
What's up, player?
When it comes to let me get y'all because at some point talk about whether we talk about on the cast or maybe we talk about on our social media. We were going to talk about how we kind of got back into boxing and Timothy Bradley. I fell out of favor time, but I got back into it in 20, and I used to just walk box on the treadmill. And
Mm-hmm.
ironically, I stumbled upon Bradley and Cotto. Was it Cotto or Marquez? I'm sorry, yeah, Bradley and Marquez. I didn't even know the result of the fight. That's how much out of tune I was. I never know who won the fight. I was like, oh shit, Bradley and Marquez, two big names. Let me watch it. And
Mm-hmm.
I love Marquez. Like maybe he's my favorite Mexican fighter. It's 1A, 1B, but Bradley took him to fucking school.
Yo,
And
so
that shit, because I watched first for Bradley. And then I was like, oh shit, I like Bradley because, he showed some grit, showed some resolve, never officially went down. And then when I watched it, he did Marquez. It was like a completely different fighter. Like, Marquez, you want to go this way, we can do it. And he just outdid his ass. You know what I'm saying? Like, people look
yeah,
at Bradley wrong because of the Pacquiao outcome. They don't respect
exactly.
his career. They hold him. He's going to be when you look at him, he's obviously always going to be tied to Pacquiao. But that's a disservice to him because he got some strikes on his resume that people need
Yo,
to actually give him credit for. You know what I'm saying?
so Tim Bradley, when he started at 140, he blanked Lamont Peterson and knocked him down.
Right.
So he beat Lamont Peterson 10 to -1. And Lamont
Mm-hmm.
Peterson was seen as an elite boxer for a long time. And if you take away the Provodnikov fight from Bradley's career, right? So you take away
Right.
that one fight
That he won
and that he won while being in this is
easily
from
too.
this
Don't
is
get wrong. He
from
got hurt quite often, but he won it easily if we being objective. There was never
yeah,
a doubt to me at the end of the fight that he was going to lose the fight. He was only going to lose that by knockout.
yeah,
But
exactly.
other than that,
And
he controlled the fight out of the 2 rounds. Out of 2 rounds, out of the first, maybe the second and the sixth round, he was in total control. So go ahead and finish.
yeah, so he was literally knocked unconscious. Oh, I apologize. He caught a concussion or two during that fight,
It
and he
never went down.
was officially he took a knee.
Yeah,
He took, but
yeah.
all of that he still went through and went life and death with a dude that could punch you in the
The
face.
Siberian
And
Rocky.
yeah, exactly. And that was I really I became a fan of Bradley after all the backlash he got from the Pacquiao
Pacquiao
fight
decision.
because I hated the way that people were talking about him.
Right.
Yeah. If we're being real, he lost that fight. Obviously, he lost that fight like a
Do
guy
you
did.
think
What's up?
he really, in your opinion, get? I didn't. I know I felt that he didn't win, but do you think it was as wide as people were saying it should have been in favor of Pacquiao?
I mean, it wasn't 12-0.
Like people were
Which
trying to
yeah,
along.
it's 9-3-8-4. I mean, I haven't watched that fight in 7 years because I watched it
What's the
maybe
point?
once. Yeah, exactly. But the way that Bradley came back after that because people were talking so much shit about him. So he
Right.
went into the Ruslan fight and he went into it with a fuck it mode and he
Just
took
someone to say. Mm-hmm.
yeah, just to entertain. And he caught a couple concussions and he still won that fight, let alone controlled it when
Yeah.
he
Outside of a
just had
few
yeah.
outside of a few fuck it moments, he was in total control. When he
Yeah,
decided to
so
box, he was fine. When he
yes.
wanted to slug it out, he got himself in some trouble.
What's up?
Initially.
Yeah. I mean, so, Tim Bradley's a warrior. He's one of my favorite fighters. And now we're seeing the Wilder knockout of Bermain Stavern. And so they're showing this. Do you see this, Mal? They're showing it in slow motion on Showtime. And then,
Isn't it crazy that prior to that was Wilder's first decision was goddamn fucking Bermain Stavern. Out of all the people, Bermain Stavern was the first person who took Wilder to distance. Like that's
but
just so random, man. Even though he was outclassed the whole fucking fight, but I just found that so funny and weird. I can't explain it, but it's just weird when I think of Stavern of all people who could take Wilder the distance. It would be him, the first
yeah,
one to do it.
I mean, it's kind of crazy, but really, the ref could have stopped that fight.
Plenty of times because Stavern offered no. There was at no point that I think Stavern was going to win it or even land a knockout shot or anything. So yeah, I'm like you. He just took punishment.
Yeah, and so right here, now we're kind of seeing the intros. I don't have the volume on, so I don't know what they're doing, but
I'm about to. I'm actually across the street at my neighbor's. I'm about to transition the party back to the crib so I can get on to this shit and get back fill my glass up because that double IPA is sitting by itself and the
yeah,
trees as well.
yeah, exactly. And Donde está Rez?
Yeah, what's up,
Where you at,
Red?
bro? What up, Rez? Where you at? But yeah, I imagine they're talking about like, okay, here we go. Yo, get to your TV, brother.
Alrighty, doing that now. I'm about to let them know I'm about to be across the street.
So they're doing the tail of the tape between Joe Joyce and Bermain Stavern, and they're using a picture of Bermain Stavern from like 5 years ago because he looks like a completely different person. And it should be interesting to see what the tail of the tape is, um, because like we said, Stavern came in at 273 pounds, which is 19 pounds over his highest weight before that. Um, so it should be really interesting to see what Stavern looks like when he actually comes to the ring. I don't think that it's going to be too long of a fight, though. But I could be wrong. And Stavern does. Yo, is that our boy Rez?
Yo, yeah, I got my dog right here, man. Smoke,
What up?
smoke, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Yo, I think
Yo, Boost. This is my boy Smoke. And he was saying, "Yo, we're not actually making a transition, so don't transition."
I'm going.
No.
I'm
If we needed some stuff, let him know, and he will send us some stuff.
Yeah,
He in
not
Colorado.
on
Right
He
here.
in Colorado.
My
So,
address is 4083.
so he said,
I'll give you
"Yo,
my
if we
address.
need some stuff, because in Colorado it's legal,
Yeah.
and he will send us some."
Oh, how much you get some cartridges for? I'm trying to
You
get
want some
6
cartridges?
we don't do carts out
cartridges.
here.
Yeah.
We don't do
7.
carts out here. We got
He said they don't do
flour.
carts out there. They just do
Nope.
straight up green.
The refills.
We'll talk.
Yeah,
Yeah,
actually, the refill.
yeah.
If
We'll
you
talk
get the
about
refill,
that at a different time. But
yeah,
Offline.
yeah.
I think that Rez was here, but where did he go?
Yeah, and he dipped out.
Join back in, Rez.
Yeah, we're
But
joining
yeah.
in. Yeah, I think he just
Oh,
joined.
yo. So everyone, we want to make an introduction to y'all. This is our boy from Hungary. We don't know where he's living at now because we smoke too much weed and we forget shit. But this is our boy, International Rez, Reservoir Dogs. And introduce yourself, player.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
perfect, brother.
Hey, what's up?
There you
Hey,
go.
hey, man, you tell us, man. Say what's up to the people.
Yeah.
Yo, I got a feeling that Rez might be super lit.
I hope he not. I hope he is, but I hope he not. Cause damn, Rez, good. Like you said, we need Rez insight, man. We had some good questions that Rez would definitely give us some insight on, man. Rez, you
Yeah,
there?
so yo, playa, where you at? I feel like maybe he can't hear us.
Alright.
There we go.
I don't really understand what did you do?
Yours is you breaking up. We hear you, but you breaking up.
Yeah, man, just
My
introduce
voice
yourself to the
breaking up.
people.
Oh yeah, hey, I'm Radisson from Hungary.
Yeah, you know what? You got like a delay. It's like
It's
you're like an echo. You
like
got an
here. It's
echo.
like that's the
Yeah.
signal here. So
Yo, so Rez, how was the Selby fight? Brother?
He there. I bet his reception, dog. God darn it.
Yo, it'll come
It
to
always
him,
do,
but
yeah. Because I remember last time he had issues when the last time we were on the Povetkin AJ thing. It took him a while, and then once he figured it out, he was good to go.
yeah, so Rez, when you hear this, let us know how the Selby fight was.
Please do. Yeah,
It sound
I've gotten my game to migrate over here. So
yeah, I can hear the
I hear
kids.
you. I hear you, but I don't get it. But the other one, I don't really
he
get
breaking
it
up.
because your voice is lagging.
What's up, Rez?
Oh, just a minute. I
Huh. Well, very
Yep.
interesting. So we have confirmed that our boy Rez is on like a 2 second delay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so now it seems like everything's okay with him. Rez, you with us?
yes. I hear
All
you.
Yeah,
right,
there you go.
cool.
He is with us.
Hey,
Someone's background is very loud. Someone's background is very loud.
yeah, Maul, turn your mic down a little bit. Hey, Rez.
Yeah,
All right, there we go.
I hear you
So
now.
how
It's clear. It's clear now.
how was the Selby
What?
fight?
Oh, it was nice, but he moved up to 2 divisions. To lightweight now.
So who won that fight?
You know,
Because they didn't.
Sabu won, but he struggled, with this guy, Omar Douglas. And now he got this IBF Intercontinental, so probably he gonna go against Comey, or that's the plan. I don't
Seriously?
think he beats Comey. Yeah, I don't think he beats Comey, but based on tonight,
So they want him to move up from 126 to 135?
no, he already did. This fight was in
Damn.
135 already. But this was his debut fight there. Because last time he lost to Warrington in 126, and this
Yeah.
was his debut fight in 135. And this was against Omar Douglas. It's like not an elite guy there, but he's still solid guy, solid opponent. And it was,
Uh,
it was a good statistic question because style with the boxer, like he works from range, straight right, jabs, and Omar Douglas constantly tried to put him to the ropes and by lodging hooks, uppercuts, etc. And Sabu was cut for bad his right eye and also or left whatever, like both eyes. By the end of it, both fights, and he cut one of his eyes pretty early. I think in the second round or something. So yeah, it was a bad cut, but he stayed composed. So he got the job done basically. Mm.
okay,
But I
so
don't think that he beats. I don't think that he beats the elite guys of the division. So, but we will see. Like, and now
yeah,
it's the show is fight, right? You
yeah.
can
So
you tell me where is your how? I mean, we're watching two different streams. Uh, where do you where you are at now?
so
Is
my
it Joyce
whole
coming in? Is it Joyce coming right now? Is it Joyce coming
yeah,
into your
yeah,
arena?
yeah. Joyce is coming to the
Okay,
ring,
for
and
me too. For me too.
all
Yeah.
right, for sure. So I don't know where.
Okay, he's just standing there.
Joy.
All right, here we go. Now we got the whole crew together, and everyone who hasn't been part of our little Smoke and Mal just 1 hour freestyle session. And shout out to my boy Mal because we killed that shit. We are getting the introduction to
Mm-hmm.
Stavern versus Joyce.
Which should be the 5 minute fight.
Yeah, it should be a 5 minute fight.
Should be.
Yo,
Yeah,
if
before
you
you and the
yeah, so I mean Joyce
like
wiped his leg.
Steven is even worse shape than he was on the wider rematch. Like
Yes.
he's even heavier. So
Mm-hmm.
it's
So my actual
That's the
question
dog.
was, did Stavern actually train for the fight?
He never does.
someone very on this very very radical.
I mean, so I don't have any sound
No,
going right
no,
now.
no,
So,
no, it's not. Okay, okay.
by the way,
You are there.
shout out to Showtime for bringing us some international fights from London. We love seeing that because we love our people from the United Kingdom and from Europe and how passionate they are about boxing.
Thank you.
I love that shit, man. I love this. I love this during the day fighting, man. This shit is perfect.
Rez, what do you blaze on, homie?
Are you drunk? Are you high? Are you anything?
Bit,
Yo,
just a bit.
what you blaze a little?
What?
What, do you smoke a little, you drink a little?
I'm not supposed to, but yeah.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I'm not supposed to either, but that's how it goes. So it looks like we are about to get the start of Stavern versus Joyce. And I'm saying Joyce within, what's it called? 5 rounds?
Stewart?
What do you got, Rez?
I'm picking Joyce.
Yeah.
He should win this.
So
And I think he should have win this early. Steven, I don't know. He's the perfect punch, but I don't think so. That I don't think that he's in the shape that you know. Joyce should win. And,
yeah,
maybe
I mean,
win early. Maybe win early. I don't know.
yeah, I mean, Stavern doesn't
Steven
seem like
Steven looks
he.
feels really bad. Why the rematch? And he's he's in even worse shape. So I don't know. And he's even older.
Yo, so I just saw Richard Schaefer is Joe Joyce signed to what's it called?
What's up?
Ringstar.
Yeah, Ringstar. Is he?
And now he's an American. He's posting American. He's also like signed to. If I believe he's signed to BBC. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I
Yeah.
mean,
He did sign to BBC like in September, I think, or something like that.
okay.
So now there are the introductions. The same too. The instructions. Yeah.
Roll. Joyce got that work rate, man. Hello?
Hello. What point?
What's up,
What point
y'all?
are you at?
I was just getting into it.
I for some reason got knocked out of
The thing?
Paul, but
We're
yeah, it
here.
looks like Joyce is dominating. And
He got
yo,
that work rate.
I want to give a shout out to boy, like the homie.
He's already putting on
Is
Instagram.
it's tuning in. Yeah, I mean Stavern looks like he wants to pass out.
You know what's crazy is this fight actually wouldn't be a bad fight if Severn was in shape. Whatever that is. But whatever that is for
But that's
him.
a long time ago. A long time ago. Oh,
I
that was
mean,
a nice counter though.
yo, Joyce is about to knock him out.
Yeah. He about to get
I'm
flattened.
actually recording right now for the knockout.
I will
Yeah.
see where gets a nice counter there.
Damn,
And
Stavern
yeah,
already tired?
he gonna get knocked out.
Stavern already tired?
Stavern was born tired, bro.
Jesus.
I mean, he's
Joyce
70
is
plus pounds, so
dominating.
yeah.
It's about to be over.
Yeah, this ain't gonna last long. This is not going 5 rounds. It shouldn't. It shouldn't go 5 rounds.
So Joyce has actually looked better this fight than I've seen him in a long time.
Him or Ortiz would be something. I'd be here for that.
I think Ortiz would
What?
destroy him.
Yeah.
But that's just me personally. Uh-oh. Oh shit. Now we got a little scrap on our hands. Or we did for a second. That was a entertaining first round, I must say.
First round is already over for you.
What's up?
First round already over for you.
Yeah, it just the first round just ended.
Yep.
So That was a pretty
10-9.
good.
Yeah, it was a good action. It was good action.
Okay, I'm a little behind. It's only like I don't know, 15 seconds. But
Man, I want to see. You know, they're
10-9,
probably
or
gonna.
Yo, Stavern looks like he's about to
somebody's
pass out.
background.
Hey, Stavern looked like he like fuck. I gotta get up again. Like shit.
For real.
He looked like I
I
gotta
mean,
do this
that
again
is.
for 3 more minutes.
He about to get knocked out.
Yeah.
That's the feeling that I have. And Severn looks. Oh, that was a nice punch.
Yeah, Severn looking like he just. I don't blame Severn. Go for the KO or go for the big. If he can stun him, that's a victory.
Okay, so they got a little bit of action going on now.
Yeah.
Pause. But yo, if Stavern takes if
Uh
Stavern what was that for?
oh. Just Severn just.
What?
Severn about to. It's. Come on now. This can't go. This can't make it out of this round.
Yo, this is some legit action right here.
Yeah, it is for what it is.
Yeah, for real. And Stavern, he looks tired.
That's
Joyce.
one thing. That's one thing I will give him with Joyce, man. Like I got introduced to him last year when I watched him in Usyk in the WSB. And one thing I like about him is he got work rate. Like he gonna throw, like whether it's
Yo,
jab or
but
he's gonna throw
so
like ooh.
yo,
Uh
Stavern just rocked him.
oh.
Stavern just
Yeah.
rocked him.
Oh.
Are you are we seeing you see the look on Joe Joyce's face. He is that was
She'll hit it. Rut
yo,
roll. Yo.
yo, this is a war.
Yeah, it is. The
They
bootleg
get
Chisora. Hey, the bootleg Chisora versus White.
they getting to it. Yo, I would never have expected this.
Me neither. And it's crazy because, like we said, if Stavern would have taken this serious weight wise, he would have a better chance.
Yo, if he was 20 pounds lighter and landed those hooks,
Yeah.
yo, he hit Joyce with a body shot right there.
He about to get
That
slumped. Uh-oh.
uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Here we go.
Uh-oh. Legs getting tired. Oh no.
Uh-oh.
Oh no. Oh, you about to get knocked out, dog.
Mmm.
You about to get knocked out,
He ain't in
dog.
shape at all. Oh, well, wait a minute. Joyce probably, yeah. Bernstein made a good point. Maybe Joyce punched himself out. Yeah, he's just throwing.
Yo, this fight is fun
The
as
burn about to
hell.
slip. His big ass is still not going down. Goose.
Wow.
What I
Yo,
normally
that
get,
was
my usual.
so, Bruz, I will say that was a fire round.
Yeah, it was.
And
For what
it
it
looks
is.
like
Y'all
Stavern.
got.
Yo, Stavern is bleeding badly from the mouth. All right.
I already knew what time it was.
Ooh, that right hook. Yo, he had him walking backwards, and now for the slow mo. Damn.
The one I normally get. Listen, I ain't drinking water, man. The one I normally get. You make my stomach fat.
Damn.
Stavern, I don't think Stavern can make it to. I don't think he just got the energy. Yeah.
He's bleeding badly from the mouth. All right, so let's see. Third round. Do you guys think Stavern's gonna make it out?
Do I think he's gonna? Well, you just. There goes the knockdown.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. He's tired. He tired as hell, man. He's tired.
Oh, yeah, this is about to be over.
He's tired. Oh, you got a delay, Smoke. I forgot. Because I'm at 210 in the fight now. In the second, in the third round. Stavern going out on the
Okay.
shield, though.
He gonna try. Uh-oh. Yo, Stavern looks like he's seeing the ghost. Uh-oh, here it comes. Here it is. Here it is.
Smoke, where are you at on the fight? How many minutes left in them for you?
I mean, I got it at 1 minute 45 seconds.
Okay, I'm at 125 and counting.
Oh, God.
I'm 270.
Okay. Stavern going out on the shield. Well, on his face. What a
All right, so where? So I think I'm caught up now. Where are you at?
I'm at a minute left.
Yep. Yo, what happened to our boy Rez?
Yeah, go ahead and jump in, Reds, balls.
Yeah, I'm like 10 seconds behind you, but Stavern is getting rocked.
He is. He's taking punishment, but he's game though.
Yo,
Oh no.
I gotta say something. What is up with the head wrap thing that he wears every
I
single
guess because he
time?
got them dreads. You know, I guess he don't want to. Because didn't Lennox Lewis have it too? Something similar.
Yeah, but I mean, Lennox Lewis is one of the baddest motherfuckers ever. Ooh, damn! Joyce just landed a right hand. It was thunderous.
Joyce
Stavern
might be
looking,
tired himself.
Stavern looking for a way out.
I don't know, brother. Stavern, he not. I wouldn't say it that. He's just not in shape.
Yeah, I feel you. I feel you.
Like I
But
said, Joyce, what he's 32, so I mean, he's kind of like Wilder. They are what they are, so we can't expect them to fine tune their games. But like I said, I credit him in his work rate.
uh-huh. Yeah, for sure. So let's see if Showtime throws up any
I'm
replays.
getting it.
Yo, Joyce looks like he's going through some stuff.
Joyce, like you said, Ortiz will give him problems.
Ortiz would KO him. I
Are you
fully
still
believe
with us,
that.
Red?
Oh, that knockdown. Woo-wee. Man, he dropped in something fierce.
Just yeah, the people who over here watching it too, they saying the same thing about Joe Joyce that he's just throwing. He's just being
Yeah,
active.
yeah. And so the thing about that